Hello and welcome to Driving by Braille with Michelle and friends. And I really hope this is recording because I'm not seeing any movement on the screen, but I'm gonna have to trust that it is. And it's been a minute since I've had my guest that is with me today, my friend, though I can't really call this person my friend because this is probably the very most important person in my life and ever. And that person is that's sitting here next to me on this audio Mother's Day version of Driving by Braille with Michelle and Friends is the ever important and light of my life and reason for me being upright and forward moving, Lulu. Hello. Hello. So my daughter and I, for those of you that don't know, Lulu is my daughter, and she has been on another episode of this podcast with me. It's an older one, and the audio is terrible, but I it's one of my favorites actually, where we discuss all of the anime programs that we have watched, and it's a lot. So we did rank them. Yeah, we ranked them in different categories. And I can't remember the categories that I chose. I did write everything down for that one.
Yeah.
But that's that one for the weebs out there.
Yeah.
Um, there's got to be one of you, go listen to that one if you haven't already, because it's a fun little episode. The audio's crap though, so hopefully this audio is better, even though I still don't see any movement on the screen. I think it's fine. I do. That's a good microphone. Um, So anyway, it is Mother's Day. This won't air on Mother's Day, but it'll air the week of Mother's Day, and so it'll still count. But we were kind of discussing before we started how we were going to do this episode, and my daughter had a great idea. And I think we're going to go with that because one of the things that I've spoken on a million times on these episodes is how much greater my life is since my daughter has been in it. And so I can talk volumes and volumes about that, and I probably have. But to bring it up to the current time, when you have an adult daughter or son, I reckon, well, I mean, this has been happening since way before you were an adult, actually. Yeah. So the deal is that my kid has been the most interesting person to me in my life since pretty much around the time she could speak. And before that, I would have killed for her. I loved her more than anything. But when they're pre-verbal, for me, it was kind of tough. It was challenging. But when she started making words, she became and now is what are you doing?
Sorry, I was looking at something.
She's scrolling while we're doing this. Um and remains the most.
Wait, you make me sound like I'm not into this.
You are.
Yeah.
I know you are. You're sitting here. That tells me everything I need
Yeah,
to know.
exactly.
Yeah. So she remains the most interesting person in my life, and I don't really see that changing ever. Yeah. So we are going to talk about, in addition to her just being, some of the some of the amazing gifts that her being has brought into my life in addition to her existence that I probably, had I not had a child of my own, I don't know that I would have leaned into some of these interests that I had when I was a kid and a teenager. But having my own daughter open my eyes to some of this stuff and times when I really needed it, we really should have done this on video. All right. Times that I really needed it, the student became the teacher, so to speak, as cheesy as that sounds. So, what category would you like to start with? Because this goes back a minute.
I was gonna say, well, okay. If this podcast isn't gonna be that long,
Speak a little bit louder, though.
okay. If this podcast isn't gonna be that long, then I guess we should just start with K-pop, because the anime thing could go far back, and you weren't really into it that time, so I think K-pop is where
it started there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
Me? Okay. Well,
They've heard my account of that.
what? Oh, okay.
How you got me into K-pop. I did 2 episodes on it.
Well, I mean, for me, it's it kind of just happened, but I guess it's 2 or 3 days after my 12th birthday. I don't remember the video, but I saw a video, I think either of some people reacting to it. Well, it goes farther back than this, but this is when I really got into it. 2 or 3 days after my 12th birthday, I was on my iPad and I just I saw a video and it said, "Oh, BTS, Blood, Sweat, and Tears," and I was like, "Huh, interesting. I'll watch this." Yeah, that started an awakening that I did not think I would have,
Okay.
and so that was fun.
And then you and I, well, we're gonna that's good. We're just gonna pause on the awakening.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I'm not.
But you and I have a little discussion about and a little of a what's the word I'm looking for? Disagreement, I guess, about what was the first, because now we're talking about Mother's Day and, mothers and daughters and
Uh
gifts and
huh.
all that stuff. So,
I think about me.
well, you, but
How I got it. You
you,
into it?
yeah, how we
Okay,
enjoy these
sorry.
things, right? That's okay. No, look,
Well,
this thing's just close. But wait, hold on. So I think I remember, so my memory of the first video of BTS you put in front of my
oh
face
yeah, okay.
is different than I think it's different than the one you think it
No,
was.
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I remember very specifically. Okay, so we were back. I don't know if you've talked about us living with your boyfriend.
I did.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
so we were living with
That's an episode title. I forgot.
her boyfriend at the time, and I had my little iPad. This is before I had a phone. So I had my little iPad mini, like 12 years old, and I had already been into the group, and I saw this, and I was like, Mom, I think I really like this. So I showed her this video of BTS's Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and
I say it was No More Dream.
no, it was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I remember it very specifically.
I
It was blood.
swear
No,
to God.
it was Blood, Sweat, and
Okay,
Tears.
so this is
It was
where
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
we go back and forth.
I know for a fact it was
Well,
Blood,
it
Sweat,
was
and
one
Tears.
on top of the other. One came quickly after the other
I can
ones.
remember it from part to part, but I just I remember showing it to you, and you were watching it, and you were like, uh-huh. And you were trying to be really nice about it. You were like, kind of reminds me of Duran Duran. But I guess it was like, now that I recollected you and looking at your face, you're like, what in the hell is this weird, mild BDSM, strange avant-garde type Asian boy band? And my brain just went whoosh, whoosh. Cause I was just like, oh, pretty men.
Yeah.
Which becomes a theme.
Yeah, it does. That's okay. That's all right. That's fair. I mean, yeah, and that's true. I mean, you were 12 and that video, I mean, if anybody has not seen it, go on YouTube and look it up. It's
It's
Blood, Sweat, and
bumpy.
Tears from BTS, and it's not like what most of the people now that are into K-pop what they think is BTS,
Oh yeah.
because
I thought you were gonna say like K-pop in general.
no,
Like,
no, this is
K-pop's
no, I'm talking about the
yeah.
Dynamite and Butter BS.
Mm-mm.
But which is fine, it's fine, but it's not
BTS.
it's not the BTS that back in my day.
All right, all right.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, so it's a pretty interesting video, and if you can put yourself in the position of a 49-year-old, yeah,
A
48 at that time. No, 49-year-old.
9?
Yeah, 49-year-old you know, parent of a 12-year-old daughter looking at this.
It's just funny to me because before that it was Danganronpa, which it's like, oh god, one weird hitter after another.
Well, and you were watching Attack on Titan and you were watching Hetalia. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I
Yeah.
was just kind of like, okay, well, it is what it is, and it's not too much of anything except for
Yeah.
Attack on Titan was too much violence. But
I mean, it's not my favorite anime.
but I mean, the point is,
Pick.
I was clued in.
Yeah.
I wasn't like,
No.
not turning my back to it. Anyway, so that started it.
Well, I had dad too, who would sit there and watch it with me sometimes.
Okay, well, you can do a podcast with him on Father's Day.
I would not.
But just kidding.
God, it's like talking to a wall.
Can you imagine? But anyway, so yeah, so that was the start. And then so that was the start. And that, I mean, they kind of know, our audience kind of knows how wide open that freaking door cracked
Yeah.
for us. And and we just, then the money that was spent on
Filled.
concerts and yeah, I mean, and they got us, that interest got us through a lot of stuff.
It did.
And,
Yeah.
and it bonded us. I mean, we were already bonded, but it definitely
made us closer.
made us very close. And we went on to see a million freaking K-pop shows. Yeah, we did. So anyway, and our world has been better because of it, really.
Yeah, I can't stop thinking about the the time we got the first BTS concert, the Wings one, and I was yammering about something. It was Jungkook's solo from it Begin, and I was just like, man. And then all of a sudden you're like, honey, shut up, my son is talking.
I
And
did
that
never
was,
say shut
well,
up.
you didn't say
Please
shut
don't.
up, but you were like, honey, honey, stop, my son is talking. And that was like the first instance of, I was like, oh my god, she's actually into this.
I was really into it.
She's into this because I mean, you've been like into stuff, not like you've been like into stuff that I like, but we were never like we were never like super into it. But this is kind of like the first moment of where like I could truly see you delving into it, and I was like, "Oh, she's hooked, she's hooked." And then the whole my son joke finally just
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that happened, and I meant it. And I remember sitting watching the Wings, the DVD that
yeah.
I got you that Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and watching it the first time, the
Mm-hmm.
very first time we sat down,
I was being so excited, I was just yammering on.
and that concert started,
My undiagnosed ADHD just
and that concert started, and we were sitting there on the couch in that other house, and I was like, my heart was beating out of my chest. I was like
yeah.
shaking. I
Yeah.
started crying. And what did I say to you? I said to you that night, I said, we will be seeing them
Yeah.
when they go on tour.
Yeah.
I had no idea if they were going to go on tour.
Me neither.
I had no
I was
idea.
like-
I didn't know if they were going to be popular. I didn't know what the hell. I just said that
Well-
if this group comes to the States, we will see them.
Yeah, well, because it was a time like it was like right before the big K-pop boom in America.
Yep.
Because it was like a lot of it was like a lot of uncertainty where it was like we don't. Because I kind of remember this a little bit from when I was still into like Vocaloid and stuff when I was very little.
Yeah.
All that stuff is usually like exclusively domestic. So for like Vocaloid's case, that's like strictly Japan. I mean, that's not really now, like during COVID, but at the time it was very much like that. And it was very hard to find merchandise of a lot of Eastern Asian franchises. So like, I mean, little me thought I would never see BTS, or like at least it would be in the very far future. And then, haha, jokes on us. Jokes on us. That year, 2018, they were like, surprise!
Yeah.
Tour!
Yeah. I mean, and that particular incident is noteworthy for a couple reasons, but most importantly because that was the first time we've seen them live, and we were on the ground.
Yeah, it was my first concert too.
And we basically, that was your very first? No.
Well, technically,
Our first concert was the Wiggles.
my God. Okay, well, I don't remember that. So, yeah, you do, but I was like, what, a fetus still? And like,
Like 18 months. You were
yeah, that's
no,
a fetus.
No, you were older than that. You were older than that. You were like 2.5.
Okay, well, I didn't have cognitive memory at that point.
It was so great.
Yeah, but I count this as my first concert that I remember.
Okay.
Well, because I don't really count, because the Pima County Fair, like when I was like 7 or something, or 5, when
It was Oro Valley.
Oro Valley.
Dad?
No, it was Pima County. It was a Pima County Festival. I remember because they had them there for a concert.
I never took you there.
I know, it was with Dad.
Oh.
Yeah. That was technically my first concert, but I don't really count that because, like, meh kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So BTS is like my first kind of like big thing, and because I bought the light stick, we bought the shirts, and it was just, did we buy a shirt? No, I bought a light stick, and I think that was it.
I bought you that light stick.
I said we.
But you got a shirt at the second one.
At the second one, yeah.
Yeah, you got a shirt.
Because a year later, they were like, hey, surprise part 2.
It was not even a year later, man.
No.
They gave us friggin' Irish twins.
Surprise!
And yeah. And it was, you know what? And I'd do it again. I mean, it was amazing.
Well, I
See
mean,
them twice. We had Floor for the second one.
They're coming back soon.
You know, and not, it's this, those are special memories. Those are huge.
The first
huge
one,
memories.
I think, that's the one I have the most vivid memory of, because we were just that close and they were up there and you were just like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, that was impressive. God, that was
them.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was that, and then subsequently went on to see a bunch of different huge groups, and
ATEEZ was, I think, my favorite behind BTS.
And so those are memories that, I mean, we'll continue to do that. You know,
Yeah.
It's not like those are done, but that's some huge memories for me, and I really. I mean, I trust that they're good memories for you.
Oh
too.
yeah, no, I love, yeah.
I mean, my God.
Those are some
Okay.
of my best memories.
They're so great. Those trips.
Yeah.
And,
Even if there were like, like the $7 water bottles at the second concert.
Oh my God. How pissed was I coming back at the Rose Bowl in 1,000-degree heat? It felt like.
Yeah, and then it dropped to like.
And then it was 2 degrees.
40?
Yeah. Right.
And I was the only one who was properly like.
And you were trying to buy the shirt. That was when you were trying to buy the shirt.
shirt.
And I was like, oh my God, can we please leave? And I kept hiding in that bathroom.
I know.
Because that was the only place that felt like it might have been,
Warm.
4 degrees above,
Yeah.
higher than 2.
But I still have that shirt. I'm not
I
wearing
know
it
you do.
right
You
now.
wore it to bed.
Not tonight.
It was like $80 that shirt.
Okay, and it's a
And
good shirt.
it is.
Even though they all look like mushroom heads in it.
It doesn't matter. That was an amazing
It
show.
was a great
Anyway,
show.
so um so we did all that. We've done all that. We'll continue to do all that.
Yeah,
And
keep up.
if somebody had told me when you were like, well, pre you,
Pre me.
when before I'd ever had thought of having a child,
Yeah.
that I was going to create the best memories of my life with somebody that I birthed, I would have been like, that's not what you do as a parent. That is not how that works. And honestly, I don't know how people go. I've said it before, I don't judge other people's parenting style because if anybody judges mine, they can eat a sock.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I would just like to say, well, you can finish your statement before I start mine, because I think your ending statement's gonna be,
well, I don't know how you go through life and not do those kinds of things.
well,
Honestly, I mean, minus financial constraints,
yes.
which I get that, and I had plenty, and I paid
Yeah.
off a lot of that stuff for a long
You
time.
just
But
mean the memories and like, bonding with your kid.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, to piggyback off of that, I just graduated, but like in high school,
a year ago.
okay, well, that's still kind of just graduated.
That's true. That's
Like I would say like a year or during high school and subsequently middle school, I would say too. Just my eyes were kind of opened and a lot of people, I mean, like they had their moms and they had their dads and stuff, but like they did not have the relationship that we had. And it first kind of came to me when like my friends would come over and I'd tell them about you and they'd be like, "Dude, your mom's like really cool." Like she like
what would you tell them about me? Because that's
well, I tell them like, yeah, no, like, but like me and my mom like to do stuff, and like she takes me to these concerts. That's what I'd say. I'd be like, yeah, my mom really likes BTS, and we go to these concerts. Or, oh, my mom took me to an anime convention because we used to go to anime conventions.
right. I because I thought it
We
was
still do.
along the line of
No,
my mom's scary.
no, but I tell my friends this, and they'd be like, dude, your mom's like really cool, and I'd be like, really? And they'd be like, yeah, like my mom doesn't do that stuff, or like my parents don't like they make fun of me for liking ABC, and I'd be like, that's so weird because like I had my standard was like I mean granted my dad was never like into the set stuff like you were but like you both supported me and you more specifically like you all like delved right into this stuff and it was just so weird for me that like my friends would like outwardly seek you and be like your mom's cool like your mom's like she doesn't like ditch you she doesn't like she still cares about you but she still wants to like not be your friend but she wants to bond with you she wants to do stuff with you and it was such a revelation to me because, like, I was like, you people don't have good relationships with your parents? You don't bond with them? And they're like, no. Like, some moms would be like jealous of their children. And that's insane to me because, like, how can you be jealous of your own child? And, like, how do you not? And personally, I don't think I'll ever want kids, but if I did, it baffles me. It was like, why would you not want to bond with your kid? Why would you not want to share those memories with your kids? And that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it certainly wasn't an intentional parenting style. It was just kind of,
Organic.
well, yeah. I mean, it was part of it coming from, your dad and me divorcing and honestly, I don't want to say guilt was the reason for it, but I wanted to make sure that you had a really good childhood and
I
a
think I
fun
did.
life, in spite of some of that stress and nonsense that
Yeah.
but and some of it too was I've stated before on this podcast not to bash my own parents because my parents were amazing. Parents were awesome. They had 5 kids and all kinds of stress, but there was things that also I knew I did not want to manage the same way with you
Pass on.
that I was managed. Yeah. And then the other part of it too, to be fair to the whole situation, you know, is that I only had you,
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of stress that was not because of you,
Yeah.
but I could as best as I could. Well, I mean, yeah, I was committed to making sure you had a really happy life,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, that was
Yeah. I mean, that's the brass tacks, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully I did okay on that so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
All right.
segue to part two of a. All right, so part two. COVID.
COVID.
Well, I mean, everything subsequently after COVID. Because I mean, K-pop was kind of during like before COVID, during, and a little after.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting on our asses.
Yeah. A lot happened during COVID.
It did? Well, that's true. My God, you're right. Well,
Because
I'm thinking about me putting down the Michelob
oh, I
Well,
mean,
that
yes, but fandom wise, that definitely yes, putting down the beer.
I mean, I don't need a
No,
medal for it, but yeah.
no. So a little bit of lore for me. I I'm sure as she said before, I was an anime fan from like the ripe age of 6, and then I kind of stopped being an anime fan and was a K-pop fan from like 12 to like currently, I would say, but it's not as much anymore. But during COVID, I don't know how, just by some divine intervention of whatever, I had gotten back into anime and really, really into anime. And because of that, like I started getting you into it.
Yeah.
And because, she wasn't drinking anymore, you weren't drinking.
Yeah, quit.
You got like really into it.
That's first episode, Breaking Up with Beer During a Pandemic. Check it out. It's on YouTube now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't remember like the first anime like we kind of watched. I mean, we watched
Yeah, what was it?
we watched animes when I was younger.
Oh, wait, yes.
We watched stuff when I was younger, but you weren't really into it. Like we watched like Soul Eater
And Oron.
and Oron, and we watched Sailor Moon, and we watched like Pokemon. But I don't you weren't really into it.
I could not. My what do they call that? My gateway anime for real was no. I got to make sure I see what that. I don't know what that is. Was Oron when Oron is your gateway anime.
Mhm. Oron's a crazy, like, now that I look back at it, Oron's a crazy anime to start with.
I know, but
I know it's a gateway anime for people, but insane.
well, I know, but see, there's nothing really out there like Oron.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with Oron High School
Yeah,
Host
I mean,
Club.
I still love it.
I do too, and I'll watch it again, the whole thing within a day, every
Yeah.
episode.
I mean,
But
we met the voice actor for Tommy.
yeah, we don't need to talk about that here. But yeah, we did. But when that's your gateway anime,
Yeah,
and
it kind of does not prepare you.
it doesn't, because even though Oron has got its wackiness, and
Yeah.
it's not, there's a lot in it
Yeah.
that as an American person,
Yeah, just,
culturally, you go, what?
yeah, just everything else kind of just like is like tackling a eldritch demon, I feel like sometimes.
It's true. There's not a lot out there like that. And so Soul Eater, at least,
Soul Eater was a good one to bounce off of.
it was, because it was completely different, but yet
It had a very like not American, but like a Western style approach.
yes, it did. From the fashion to the music to
The
the settings, and we did watch both of those in English.
Yeah, I love Soul Eater in English. Just because I think that's one of the best examples of a dub being a very good dub.
Yeah, Soul Eater is excellent.
So funny.
If you're curious about anime and you like action and it's true to the anime, like
Soul
what
Eater,
people identify as anime or think of when they think of anime, but it's real easy to watch.
Soul Eater is my favorite anime.
It's good.
Even with all its weird.
Yeah, there's some scary stuff and
Not the scary stuff, just like the weird stuff, like like the panty flipping and stuff.
yeah, that stuff doesn't bother me though.
It doesn't bother me either, but like to someone who doesn't watch anime, they're gonna be like,
Yeah, the violence is scary, but other than that,
it's a good show.
it's a good show.
It's my favorite.
But then we dabbled in. We were in and out of fairy tale a lot.
Yeah.
Time we would always watch it,
yeah.
leave it, and then go back to it.
I hit saturation with fairy tale at a point. I was just like, oh my god.
A fairy tale, you can always go back to it.
Yeah, fairy tale, and that's another show. Fairy tale gets hated on way too much.
I don't know those faces. Well, I do because
Yeah.
I actually.
Yeah, well, I'm more on the internet than you are when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I love fairy tale. I think in a day and age like this, we need more animes that sure have action, but have like the power of
Friendship is magic.
Yes, the power of friendship.
It's true.
If it's done correctly, I think it's very good.
It is good. It's true, and it's very important.
Yeah,
it's always important. But my God, right now, people that are different coming together to try to fix some shit. Yes.
Yeah.
French. I agree.
So fairy tale wasn't an Oron.
Those were the ones that I really just kind of, and I could take or leave fairy tale. And I was like, well, I'm not going to find anything like Oron, so I'm done.
Yeah, do you want to just start delving into like the weirdest stuff that we watched?
Well, we did that. Like we have an episode where we did that.
I barely remember it. I was doing chronological order of just like.
Well, okay, so we can't go through the entire list because
No, I
we've
know.
watched
I
like
know.
670
I know.
animes.
Okay, so okay, well, we could skip to like Utano. Utano Prince.
Okay, so we started to get curious, and this would coincide with because this was down during the pandemic when
Yeah.
we both started to really lock in. And
Yeah.
we had nothing to do,
So and we've kind of
and I had quit drinking.
yeah, we
So
kind of got into like romance animes and stuff.
uh
Was it?
idol animes.
No. I don't. No. Because
Well, Kamisama Kiss.
yeah,
That's
so romance.
yeah.
So then we got into like romance animes like Kami-sama and Utano Prince-sama, which Utano Prince-sama.
That's not a romance
It's
anime.
technically it was an Otome game, which is a romance game, and
But the anime is not
no,
like
the
that.
anime is weird.
Stupid.
It's so stupid. It's funny though. It's one that I can sit there and laugh at it. Though I get, going back to it when we watched it again, I was like,
It's terrible. But we did watch some romance animes. Kami-sama Kiss, and then I started watching Fruits Basket.
yeah. I don't know why I didn't watch Fruits Basket.
Oh,
I think
God.
I think it's because I thought Toru was like kind of a pushover.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, I've watched it now.
Yeah, you have, and we both cried again.
Yes, I cried a lot. We watched Madoka Magica.
That was
a great show,
Oh.
but I could never watch it again. That show made me like open mouth sob.
Yep.
I had never cried that hard, I don't think ever in my life.
Yeah.
That one was rough.
That was rough.
It was a very good show though.
It's a good show. But we kind of bopped around different genres
Yeah,
until we
more recently.
I mean
2023 was when we really started delving into the idol sphere.
Is it?
Yes. And you want to know why?
Idol
7.
How did you get
We were watching something before that, and I can't remember what it was.
Was it Utano Prince Sama?
No, it was something on Crunchyroll, because I remember us seeing Idol 7 and going,
That's crap.
no, we watched it once before. I think it was right after Utano we started watching it at first, and we started the first episode, and both of us were kind of like,
It's bland. The first episode was so bland.
Yeah, and then,
and we didn't like.
I think
we didn't like. I don't want to say
Samugi.
Samugi. Yeah, sorry.
Who, sorry, that's our cat's name. So, because of the show, we named our cat that.
Mm-hmm.
We finished something, and we felt kind of like empty inside. I remember.
Was it Romantic Killer? I mean,
maybe,
but
it might have been. I don't know. That's a possibility, or it could have been like God Troubles Me, but God Troubles Me is Chinese, not Japanese.
No, that wouldn't have been a gateway to that.
Okay, we'll say it was Romantic Killer then, I guess.
There's so many.
There was.
I wish
so
that list.
we started the show, little show called Idol 7, and that was a gateway to something I did not. I mean, I knew. I kind of had an idea of me, but not you.
Yeah.
You got really into it.
I did.
I love Idol 7. I could talk about that for hours, but
I did.
I digress.
Well, I think what the people don't understand is that a lot of these anime shows series that look like they're just about the idol industry,
yeah,
or cute boys that sing and dance,
or it's just like, they are haha, romance.
They are
la, la, la.
3 seasons deep of psychological trauma and mental health.
It gets dark. Like, I remember we started Idol 7 and we were like, oh, it's probably not going to be that bad. I mean, it's so silly and colorful. And then episode 6 comes around.
It was
everything.
3. Wasn't it 3?
No, it was episode 6, because it was episode 4 and 5 were about the power going out at that one place. And it was still
Sogo hadn't had his stomach problem.
No. We kind of I know it went very it was not mellow, but at the time I thought oh, okay, this is probably the worst it's gonna get, or a show's canceled, la 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 la, stuff like that.
Yeah, they had issues with the industry. They weren't getting fans, and they were getting shit on by fans.
And we thought oh, rival group, that was pretty standard for an idol show, or at least what I do for an idol show. And then the mafia stuff happened in season 3, and
but it was all crazy.
I know season 1.
It starts in season
1. Tamaki's dad. That was probably the scariest part, and the stalk.
You're spoiling it too.
Okay, well,
Well,
I didn't say anything. It's just,
but even just the interpersonal dynamics between the team,
yeah.
or the first episode where Smugi is asked to kick 3 of them out.
I know, and she was like, "I can't do that."
I
I'm
mean,
not doing that.
it's definitely touches on some themes that
Yeah.
I think it's great that shows them in
Yeah.
this light of a really beautiful show that's got really
It's
crappy music.
wow, you're gonna get rocked for that. Maybe.
Well, I don't think
I
that
don't know.
I don't think the anime community really
Well, who
listens.
knows?
Well, okay, so it's not crappy music.
It's not the best.
It's just kind of canned.
Yeah.
But
Um,
but the show is so good, it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
the show is
The
very
show
the
is
writing is
great.
so funny.
The
Oh my
voice
gosh.
acting is amazing. The
Yeah.
writing is so good.
Yuki, my love.
The writing is so
It's
damn good. YouTube with the what do they call that? With the where
me
they
too.
where they do that the English
The subtitles? Oh, the compilations?
they call them those little videos. They call them
Funny moments?
yeah, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
that series of scene funny moments in Adler 7 that don't feel like that are real.
That don't feel real? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are,
Idol 7 is very like that.
it's just so funny.
It's so funny. And the characters are so just wonderful and
Yeah, we
I
sound like we're
yeah.
schizophrenic talking about it.
My goat Yuki is he's a team player. I love him.
So yeah,
So
so there's some so Isabella
I love him.
has an ultimate in that show. And
An ultimate. It's an Oshi. It's an Oshi when it comes
okay,
to Japanese media.
Oshi. It's an
Oshi.
Oshi. So then Idolish 7, we
We kind of started watching more Idol.
we started looking for more idol animes, which is kind of a
It's a hit or
fruitless
miss.
it's a fruitless
Yeah,
pursuit.
it's a hit or miss.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of quality
And
stuff out there.
usually
However,
from like games.
we
Which,
found so then
segue.
all right, so there's a million minutes we could talk about all this in our Mother's Day episode, which is becoming the anime K-pop episode. But
I
things
mean,
no, it's our bonding shit
Yeah.
stuff. But so go ahead and go on
do
to
you want me to introduce?
let's just yeah, because I
Okay.
think this would be a good
So-
place because this is
so-
where we are presently
So
with everything.
A running theme between me and my mother here is I will get into something and I'll be like, hey, I think you'll like this, or like, hey, you should try this. And usually she'll start, not always.
Oh,
There's an occasional. It's not always. You make it more frequent than it actually sounds. But she'll do this thing where I'll be like, hey, mom, let's try ABC. And she'll be like, no, I don't think I'll like that. Or no, I don't like this. And I'll be like, I think you will because I'm the one who's watched it and I know her. So I'll usually have watched it first or I've watched like a good portion of it and she'll be like, no. Or she'll be like, no, I don't want to. And after like maybe
I'll be like, no, it's not my jam.
no, it's not my jam. And after a little bit of probing, I'll be like, please, I promise you, just watch it with like a open mind. That's usually what I have to say. I'm like, don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously and you'll like it. Yeah, so that happened with Ensemble Stars.
It's happened with everything.
I know, but Ensemble Stars I think is like one of the strongest iterations of this because for the longest time, well not the longest time, but for a while.
We'll explain what Ensemble Stars
Okay,
is.
Ensemble Stars, like Idol
Is it
7,
cool?
it is an idol game and they have a show. It is one of my favorite games. Arguably, unfortunately. I wish I could free myself from the chains of it, but it's good. And
And sometimes the games don't translate to good shows.
no, sometimes they do. The thing with Ensemble Stars is the show is okay, but I personally did not know what I was getting into before I started playing the games and I started getting into the characters because that game gets really dark. And I'm talking like, not like Idolish 7 dark, maybe darker in some situations with just like, just the weird like stuff that happens. But it's very good and the characters are very good. And so with that in mind, I was like, hey, you should watch this. And so we did watch the show. She was like,
I started it with
Yeah,
you a long time ago.
a long time ago,
and then I hated
you
it.
hated it. And then we went back because I convinced you.
Yep.
And she started liking it. She started liking it.
Okay, but to be fair, I started liking it. I dug in and I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and we enjoyed it to a degree.
We did, but
it's like,
but you know, sometimes these shows that are based on games, they take a lot of for granted in that they assume that everybody who's watching the show is playing the game, and so they
which is such a
understand.
detriment to the show.
So this exactly. So they assume that people understand some of this relationship drama that is not really presented in the show, and
Yeah.
some of these tensions and some of these, you know, just why things are so intense.
Actual stakes.
And one of the things that she and I would talk about regularly is that, you know, it's okay.
It's good,
but it doesn't have a lot of heart. It's missing a lot of stuff. Well,
Yeah.
it turns out it is.
Yeah, the game, definitely. I play the game.
But then, what did we find? You told me.
The concert?
No, that's a whole different
miniseries,
right.
Okay,
No,
so
the concert is a
think
whole separate issue.
in response to the show, I guess the company for Ensemble Stars decided like posting like, oh, like on YouTube they started posting like miniseries for some of the arcs. The first one I think they did was my favorite arc, which is about one of my favorite characters. And when you watch it, it's like that makes more sense.
So basically, this little mini series,
Yeah.
little 10-minute little episodes,
Episodes, and like there's six of
filled
them.
in with somehow masterfully filled in these gaps
That
in
you
the
need.
action that the series
Desperately
did not disclose to the not normal people, but the people like me who don't play the game.
The outsiders.
Yeah. And I was then like, well, damn.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually good stuff. It really, in a quality way, fills out this 12 episode show and makes it actually a good show.
Yeah.
It's kind of backwards, but yet it really does work.
Yeah.
But the really is these shows, these idol shows in Japanese culture.
Well, we're circling back to
or Japanese media.
Yeah, what I was saying at the beginning. It's very hard to find stuff or just like get or have accessibility to some of these things because I don't know.
That's not what I was going to say.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
I was going to talk about the fact that the way they draw some of these people.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were talking about like
creates a problem for me because not only do they draw these people to look a certain way that brings back my 15, 16-year-old
brain chemistry.
I like the boys that wear makeup which I guess I still do.
That's been me forever.
I raised you.
Since birth.
Yep. I don't know how I got away from it, but I'm glad I'm back. But they also, the voice actors portray, some of them portray these guys get a lot of work, voice actors.
Yeah.
But they go on actual tour.
Tours, but they have concerts.
They have concerts.
In Japan.
And they're actually, a lot of them are artists in their own right.
Yeah.
But they are these concerts and these productions that they put on.
They're so great. They're so fun. They're so fun.
Know that we can adequately explain this to the people.
No.
I've never seen something like this.
It's so fun. Like, if you're not into it, then it's not going to be as fun. But if you're into it...
I wasn't into it, and it...
That's true. But you also have a crush on Toshiki Matsuda.
I do.
So...
I do.
That's kind of the main reason why you got into Ensemble Stars.
If we add him, do you think he'll listen to this podcast?
Mom, please don't.
Okay, we won't. Sorry.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, so the concerts were one of I think the big reason why you really, really got into it.
It is.
You have a giant crush on
I do.
The character Rei Sakuma.
I do.
Who is clearly inspired by his voice actor Toshiki Matsu.
Oh my
word.
Who
is also in Idolish 7, but his character is not as fun in Idolish 7 as it is in
still a handsome man, the actor.
Okay.
Good God. Good God.
Cool it down.
I'm cooling it.
Cool it.
So here we are. So now
for Mother's Day, it was very early. Can I
go ahead? Yeah. Oh, sure.
Okay, so for an early Mother's Day present, like a month ago, I bought her
truly with her own money.
With my own money. I bought her an Ensemble Stars concert, which had, so basically in Ensemble Stars, there's these things called units, and each unit has like a theme or like a sort of like, style. And the one that she likes is the most called Undead. And Undead has Toshiki Matsuda, or her favorite character, Rei Sakuma, as one of the members. He's the leader. And so I bought a DVD that had Toshiki Matsuda's group in it, which is, I guess, it's not kind of hard to find, but these concerts, they don't have all the characters because, I mean, there's a bunch of units and they can't do that. We'd be there forever.
I don't think, yeah, they're all busy working another job.
Yeah. So that's what I bought her for Mother's Day. And she thoroughly enjoys it every time.
And this is why I'm still single, and that's okay.
Both.
Yeah, I know.
But no one could be Wataru Hibiki.
Well,
No.
I know. Except for Yuki.
Well, they're not very similar, though.
I know. So that's it. When the student becomes the teacher, the joy factor increases, and that is the theme of this Mother's Day podcast. So, I on that note, because you and I could spend hours and hours talking about this stuff
Oh, good Lord.
into the void,
Jar it with me.
but I think now would be a good time to pause it. We've got lots of stuff happening in the future, and
Expo.
okay,
Cosplay.
yes, and lots of good stuff happening, of which that's some of it. But I think for now, we should wrap this one up. And it's been such a great time talking with you about this stuff. It's fun. Did you have fun?
I did.
Okay. Do you like having me as your mom?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I don't. Geez, way to put me on the spot like that.
Well, I was going to start with that, but then what are you going to say? No, after all that?
Exactly. So I don't know why you even posed that.
Yeah, because it's goofy.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, happy Mother's Day, Lou.
Yeah. No. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thanks for making me a mom.
Yeah. Thanks for being my mom.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks
That's
for
my
popping
pleasure.
me out of the womb.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't really want to go anywhere that day, but you ended up going, so that's good. Now you're
Yeah.
all right. Well, peace and happiness, and watch anime and stay out of the fray and listen to K-pop. Oh my God, your lives would improve so much. Not that you need that, but I think right now we could all use a little joy and
whimsy.
and there's a lot of that out there in the world if you know where to find it, and we're telling you where to find it. So have a great week. Until next time, with Driving by Braille with Michelle, I am Michelle, and this was Lou. Peace.